Hello everyone. Starting from this video, I'm going to talk about data structures in Python. They are very important concept in coding interviews. We will talk about list, tuples, and dictionaries. These are container data types. Up to now, we have seen integer, float, string data types, but real-world data needs data of different types. For example, we can represent human using his height, weight, and color. And they combined together represent individual person. Let's open idle environment to play with list first of all. Lists are basically like arrays. If you are coming from programming background in other languages, you may be familiar with concept of array. You can create list by using square bracket notation, putting each element inside this separated by comma. Let's create our first list of 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, and let's assign this to a variable numbers. This creates a very simple list. If we check the data type of this list using type function, we get back class list. List can contain elements of different data types, so we can have another list, mix, and we can assign values 1, 2, A, B, C. And this creates a list of numbers and string elements. We can also create list containing other list as its element. Let's create 1, 2, 3, 4 and assign it to a variable matrix. This creates a 2 by 2 matrix. You can also see that I have nested one list inside another list. We can also include a list as an element. So mix 2 and assign the value of 1, 2, A, and we can also include another list with elements 2 and 3. We can also add two lists together that will simply combine the elements of one list to another. List 1 with a value of 1, 2 and list 2 with values of A and B. If I add list 1 and list 2 and assign it to list 3, and if I try to print list 3, I get back list with all elements. We can also create list using list function. It takes an iterable object. Remember, iterable is an object in which we can iterate through each element like string or range function. Let's create a simple list of 10 numbers. For that we can use our range function, list, and we write range inside it with 10. So range 10 will give us an iterable of 0 to 9, and when we put it inside the list function, it will create a list. And as expected, it creates a list with elements 0 to 9. Remember, range function do not include the last number. We can also specify the starting number in the range, so we can create list starting from 5 instead of 0 by passing 5 as the first argument. List range 510 will create list of 5 elements starting from 5. We can also specify step as the third argument. So let's say we wanted to create list of only odd numbers from 5 onwards. We could add the third argument to the range function and it will create list with elements 5, 7 and 9. We can also pass another list to this list. So list with another list 1, 2 inside it will create a new list. If we want to create list of 10 elements with all elements being 0, we can use multiply like this. It creates 10 zeros in a list. So these are simple ways you can create list. If we give a string to a list function, it will create list of all its characters. So list hello, and it creates list with each character of the string as its element. Now Python is very clean. It doesn't clutter with many different styles and conventions. So to access each element, we can use indexing just like we did for strings. Let's create new list numbers with values 1 to 10. If we check numbers, it created 1 to 10 as its elements. To access first element, we can use numbers 0 and we get back 1. To access the last element, we can use numbers -1 and we get back the last element. We can access first 5 numbers using slicing operations like strings. Numbers 5 and we get back first 5 numbers. To get the last 5 numbers, use numbers 5 colon and we get back the last 5 numbers. To get every other element from the list, we could use the last argument step. So numbers colon 2 and we get back only the odd numbers positioned at index 0, 2, 4 and so on. To get every third argument, we could replace this 2 with this number 3. Numbers colon 3. To reverse a list, we could use -1 as a step, so it would move the index 1 position backward in each iteration. So numbers colon -1 would give us list elements in the reverse order. We can also get elements from the nested list. If we look up our mix2 variable we declared earlier on, it has this list inside it. If we want to get this first element from the inner list, we first have to get the inner list using mix2 and giving it the index of 3. If we check its value, it has this inner list. Now to get the first element, we can use the same indexing convention. So mix2, 3 and we give the first element index 0 and we get back number 2. Python lists are mutable objects. That means you can modify the content of the Python list. For example, let's say I wanted to modify the last element of the numbers list to 1000. I can do that like this. Numbers -1 equals 1000. Now if I check numbers list, I will get back the same list with last element changed to 1000. So this was a brief introduction of list. In the next video, we will see some of the built-in functions to work with list. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel to learn more on computer science and programming. I will see you in the next video.